One of the key votes in the Senate joins us right now. Democratic Senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin. Senator, welcome back to Special Report.
Thanks for having me, Brett. Appreciate it.
So if they say we're pushing forward with reconciliation, which means not 60, 51 votes.
True.
Let's say they figure out a way to write it where it all fits under the rules. You're questioning that, but let's say they do. And they come to you and say, Joe, we need that vote. And it's $1.9 trillion. Are you voting for it?
Brett, what I have told everybody, and I made it very clear from the President of the United States to all of my colleagues, we're going to make this work in a bipartisan way. My friends on the other side are going to have input, and we're going to do something that we agree on. I'm not going to do it just down the lines of just saying party line vote. It has to make sense.
We begin tonight with Senate passage of that massive $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. After an all-nighter, the final vote was along strict party lines, 50 to 49. One senator was out of town.
I have told everybody, and I made it very clear from the President of the United States to all of my colleagues, we're going to make this work in a bipartisan way. My friends on the other side are going to have input, and we're going to do something that we agree on.
Senators voting along party lines after more than 25 hours considering and amending the package, working into the early morning hours.
I'm not going to do it just down the lines of just saying party lines.
Mr. Manchin, aye. Mr. Markey.
We've built too much trust up among each other to allow this to fall apart. So they can count on me to make sure that we do everything to make this bipartisan.
Mr. Manchin, aye.
That sounds like a no if they try to blow it down the line.
We're not going to blow it down the line. They can't do it down the line.
Democrats approving the measure alone.
But I want you to know I will vote in a bipartisan way.
You better think about what you're saying. You better think about the consequences of your actions.
Republicans firmly united against the plan.
And Senate Democrats pushed through President Biden's $1.9 trillion relief bill without any Republican support this weekend. GOP lawmakers tried to narrow down the bill after criticizing the plan as wasteful spending.
We're battling COVID-19 more fiercely now than we ever have before. We recognize that. It's inexcusable for us to leave town and not have an agreement that we can come together and not show that we can work the way the Senate and the way that Congress was intended to work in a bipartisan way. I want it to be bipartisan, so if they think that they're going to we're going to throw all caution to the wind and just shove it down people's throats, that's not going to happen. Chuck Schumer said yesterday on the floor, he said, this is going to be a bipartisan process. We encourage a bipartisan process. That means Democrats and Republicans will have amendments. We have many opportunities to make the necessary changes and make your point, and that's what it's about. The process needs to work.
Democrats did what they set out to do, which was pass a $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill, and they did it without a single Republican vote.
To make sure that the $1,400 stimulus payments go to convicted criminals serving time in prison. They voted specifically to make sure the payments go to people, illegal immigrants who are here illegally. There's reparations for minority farmers that don't have to demonstrate any financial stress or any adverse effect from COVID, but they'll get 120% of whatever indebtedness they have just paid for by the taxpayer, but not if you're a white farmer. It's outrageous and I think unconstitutional. The list goes on and on.
That. Yeah, I was watching your Twitter feed over the weekend. I know you put out like a top 10 most outrageous. I think it was like left-wing radical moves. I can't remember the phrasing.
Joe Manchin is a pretty reliable vote. He has to make noise about this stuff because he can't be seen as just like some lib Democrat.
President Biden even got involved. I know that you two talked. What was that conversation? Did you get a promise out of him?
No, I don't. I've never done that. I don't ask for this or that for that. No, I just don't trade off that way.
So why couldn't you get your Republican friends to support this bill? Did politics pull them back, you think?
Chuck, it's just the process we're in, and we've got to bring our country together. We really do, and we can do that. We truly can. There's good people on both sides. I've been in the minority. I've been in the majority. And I can tell you the respect I have on both sides when I've been there should be, I got something to say, listen to me. And I want that to happen. It takes deliberation. It takes listening to the minority to make sure that the majority is getting it right.
Senator Tom Cotton tweeted about the stimulus checks. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston bomber, murdered 3 people and terrorized his city. He'll be getting a $1,400 stimulus check as part of the Democrats' COVID relief bill.
Now, there is a bit of concern among some Democrats that the new bill, as it makes its way to the House, may find some trouble with some of the more progressive members. But today, President Biden addressed that specifically, saying he thinks they're going to be okay with it.
Everybody wants to work on a bipartisan way. We want Republicans to come on board. I hope my Republican colleagues come on board, but if not, we're going forward.
As Bernie Sanders said, this is the most progressive bill he's ever seen passed in history.
Try to do what we can do in a bipartisan way. Let's do that first, showing that we can start out the new Congress bipartisan.
Manchin was always going to end up probably falling in line, especially if the rest of the party, like if there were like 10 or 12 senators who weren't falling in line, he would absolutely be one of them. But if he was the deciding vote, I don't think he would blow up the Biden administration by himself.
President, who tweeted this weekend calling you Senator Munchkin of West Virginia, saying he was surprised and disappointed that you voted against him, basically, saying that they, meaning your constituents, are really mad at you back in your home state and that you're just a puppet for Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Senator, I want to give you an opportunity to respond.
Sure. Well, first of all, the Munchkin, I'm taller than him. I think I'm a little bit bigger than he is. Not heavier. He's much heavier than me, but I'm a little taller than him. So I guess he's got that a little bit off.
In recent days, the president has tweeted about you a couple times, calling you Joe Munchkin, insulting you. Why do you think your vote in particular has struck such a nerve with President Trump?
Well, let's first start the name calling, basically Munchkin. I guess that I guess he's confused on that because I am a little bigger than him. He's got me about 30 pounds on weight, but I am a little taller than him. I am a little bigger than him. He's got me about 30 pounds on weight, but I am a little taller than him. So that shouldn't be accurate.
You're not a munchkin.
That's not a munchkin. That's
fact check
sure.
true. Okay.
The other thing is that I think if you look, I voted with the president and with bipartisan way more than anybody, Jake, 56% of the time.
56% of the time.
Let me ask you this. You're the most conservative Democrat in the Senate. I think you have voted with Trump 51.6% of the time. So you are the most conservative of the Democrats. But
my state, as you know, is extremely conservative and red. But I'm a proud West Virginia Democrat, and I tell people I am fiscally responsible and socially compassionate. That's the way I was raised. There's an old saying in politics, you better tell your story before someone tells one on you. When they start calling us socialists, defund the police, all the things they've said, I don't know a Democrat socialist.
Bernie Sanders is a self-described Democratic socialist. He embraces that.
I'm Joe Manchin. I was born and raised in Farmington, West Virginia. Work with both parties and any president who wants to get things done for the people of West Virginia.